Imagine you are legally parked at a rest area, sound asleep, and 2 hours into your required 10-hour break. Then a commercial DOT officer pounds on your door and wants you to wake up and help inspect your truck. CVSA Brake Safety Week is underway from August 23rd through August 29th. Thus the question, can the DOT legally wake you up just to perform a random inspection? And the answer to that question is not as simple as yes or no. The CVSA, which stands for Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance, holds this 7-day inspection and education campaign throughout the United States, Canada, and Mexico. These are not new inspection rules. The difference is that more inspectors and resources are being directed toward brakes and braking systems. Inspections can happen at weigh stations, roadside inspection sites, temporary locations, and during roving patrols. My name is Jim Campbell, 33 years in the trucking industry. I've driven the roads, I've dispatched the drivers, and I've brokered the freight. This year's special focus is brake drums and rotors. Inspectors will look for broken or cracked drums and rotors, excessive rust, metal-to-metal contact, and damage that can reduce braking performance or send pieces flying into traffic. They will also check for air leaks, damaged hoses, overstroked brake chambers, worn or contaminated linings, loose parts, broken spring brake housings, and an inoperative tractor protection system. Under the 20% rule, a combination can be placed out of service when 20% or more of its service brakes are defective. In 2021, inspectors checked nearly 36,000 commercial vehicles. 12% were placed out of service for brake-related conditions. In 2022, the rate increased to 13.3%. It was 12.6% in 2023 and 12.8% in 2024. Then came 2025. Inspectors examined just over 15,000 vehicles and placed 2,296 of them out of service. That was a 15.1% failure rate, the highest of the 5-year period. More than half of those 2025 out-of-service vehicles failed the 20% defective brakes rule. Inspection totals vary with participation, so the percentage is more meaningful. It stayed near 12 to 13% for 4 years before jumping sharply in 2025. That is nearly 1 out of every 7 inspected vehicles taken off the road for brakes. Now let us answer the question in the title. Federal regulation gives authorized officials broad power to inspect commercial vehicles in operation, but CVSA's own inspection selection guidance rules say inspectors should not disturb a legally parked driver that is either off-duty or in the sleeper berth solely to conduct a random inspection. The important words to remember are legally parked, off-duty, and random inspection. However, don't lose sight of the fact that CVSA's inspection policy is just that, a policy. It's not a federal statute giving drivers immunity from getting a knock on their door while they are in the sleeper berth. An officer may still wake you for illegal parking, an obvious safety hazard, an emergency, a welfare check, or another legitimate enforcement reason. Your 10-hour break does not create a legal force field around that sleeper berth. But when you are legally parked in the sleeper with no suspected violation or safety problem, CVSA guidance says an inspector should not wake you merely for a random inspection. If it happens, do not turn the rest area into a roadside courtroom. Calmly state that you are legally parked and in the middle of a sleeper berth break. Ask whether the inspection is random and can wait. If the officer orders you to participate, comply and document what happened. Once required to provide paperwork, apply the brakes, operate lights, or otherwise assist, that time should generally be recorded on duty, not driving. Federal regulations count time inspecting or servicing a commercial vehicle as on-duty time. That means the interruption can affect your 10-hour break or your 34-hour restart. Questions unrelated to the inspection can raise different legal issues depending on the circumstances and state law. The practical lesson in all this is simple. Before you start your day and start rolling down the highway, ensure you are doing a good pre-trip inspection, paying special attention to your drums, rotors, hoses, linings, and listen for air leaks. And those DOT boys don't just check everything out on your tractor. Remember, trailers count too. You can count on the fact that DOT will be checking out your trailer as well. In that regard, you better be careful with any trailers that you freshly hook up to and are not familiar with during Blitz Week. If anything is wrong with that trailer, it's on you. Hopefully you won't be toast. And understand the difference between an officer's legal authority and what CVSA policy says an inspector should do during a random inspection. Have you ever been awakened during your 10-hour break for a DOT inspection? Please tell me what happened in the comments. My name is Jim Campbell. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there and remember to keep the shiny side up and the greasy side down. I'll see you in the next video.